what's hidden under veil changes their mind. When a retail store announced their newest liberal stance, they were elated to greet a shopper, who was completely covered in the traditional niqab veil. However, their celebration quickly turned to horror when they realized what was hiding under their customers' clothing. The West has opted to sacrifice the values and laws that have made it exceptional and progressive for the sake of appeasing a culture and religion that prohibits such liberties. Of course, this appeasement only leads to more demands until that so-called tiny minority is much larger, more powerful, and ultimately rules by Sharia law as it has in every country in which it has become the majority. As such, the once boasted choice to wear the hijab becomes mandatory legislation punishable by harsh sentencing. Mistakenly believing that Islam merely wants tolerance and equality, Debenhams, a UK store located in Exeter, proudly announced that they would be introducing Islamic clothing as part of a campaign of acceptance of Muslim compulsions. Thinking that nothing could go wrong with embracing Sharia law, the shop was surprised when a niqab-wearing customer entered and began praying loudly to Allah in the middle of the merchandise. The Mirror reports that although the staff didn't dare object to the Muslim shopper concealing their identity and boisterously praying at their store, they hypocritically were outraged when the customer walked out and removed the veil, revealing that they are a white man named Thomas Dunn, who was merely demonstrating the inconvenience and safety hazard the niqab poses. Showing their intolerance for a man choosing to wear the niqab, police surrounded Dunn and questioned him under Section 43 of the Terrorism Act. Hilariously, the officers proved that the niqab is often used for terrorism, despite fearing to appear racist and Islamophobic. Luckily, Dunn is white and identifies as male, giving the authorities approval to go against their own politically correct policies. Of course, Dunn was let go, since wearing the niqab isn't against the law. Police were unable to charge him with anything as Muslim demands have made it so that the Islamic veil can be abused by those not simply wearing it because of personal religious convictions. Speaking with the Devon Live, Dunn explained that his campaign is working just as planned, pointing out both the hypocrisy and stupidity of the liberal agenda. When you change into a burqa, you really can see that the way people look at you changes. You see that initial fear in their eyes, he said. What I'm doing is not illegal, and I'm definitely going to do it every week, or I might increase it to a couple of times a week. I have told the police what I'm doing. Dunn says he will continue to act in order to peacefully protest all face coverings, refuting exemption for any religion or culture. The store's discomfort with not being able to identify who is behind the veil or their motive proves Dunn's claim that the niqab is not only uncomfortable to Westerners, including liberal Islamophiles, but also poses a risk to both our security and progressive values. The veil conceals the identity of the wearer, preventing anyone from knowing who or what lurks behind its obstructive material. Terrorists, sex offenders, known criminals, and potential criminals have all used the veil to their advantage, knowing that authorities and civilians are too afraid of being accused of racism and Islamophobia to question their obscurity. Likewise, the veil supports Muslims' attempts to segregate themselves from non-Muslims and their values and laws, resulting in homogeneous Islamic enclaves that adhere to a legal Sharia law and a barbaric, oppressive culture. Although the Mirror claims that the Quran, the Islamic holy book, asks for both men and women to dress modestly, and that women choose this, the Quran actually commands men, who Allah has deemed superior to women, to order females to dress this way. There's no choice and there's no asking anywhere in the Quran. What will happen if another customer waltzes in with the veil? Will they risk confronting the obscured shopper? Would they even allow themselves to assume that it could be a man or, worse, a terrorist? What if it was a man who merely identifies as a Muslim woman? Is the store really willing to hold political correctness and cultural sensitivities over the safety of 99% of their patrons? Perhaps they'll decide it's easiest and most sensible to ban all face coverings instead of biasedly offering one particular special interest group the right to hide their identity with a covering that is often abused. Please share the story and tell us what you think by clicking one of the buttons below. We want to hear your voice.